make sure you watch Pinups, Cool Cats, and Comics on Facebook and follow them on Instagram.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Pinups, Cool Cats, and Comics. I am Dennis with my
Hi.
co-host Teresa.
2 weeks in a row again.
2 weeks in a row, and this is basically part 2 of our anniversary special, our
Yes.
1 year special.
We forgot.
It's not that we forgot. We kind of ran out of time, really, and it's impossible to really thank everybody throughout the year. But there are a couple of notable people.
You
that
know
we
what
did
it
want to
was?
mention tonight.
Absolutely, and I think that my memory was getting jogged so much, and I was getting so exciting that I did forget because I was so like, oh my God, yes, we did that, we had this wonderful person on, and I was saying how I had a favorite, but really everybody was my favorite.
Yeah, I couldn't nail down one
I couldn't.
person.
Yeah, I would say so and so is my favorite, and then I'd be like, wait a minute.
There were a couple of surprises for me, like especially Trevor Gillies. Because
Yes.
I never would have expected to get that. And again, that's thanks to Cyclone, who has a show right before us, In the Cage with Cyclone.
Yep.
And basically it's about all combat sports, including hockey, obviously, and WWE, MMA, boxing, all of that stuff. And Cyclone is going to be our guest next week.
Yay!
So if you haven't seen his show, you will get to see what he's all about, and we'll pick his brain on some fighting stuff. And,
I have a lot of questions.
Yeah, I'd like to talk to him about certain things, get his opinion on it. And yeah, so we're not going to really recap last week so much. We're just going to continue it.
Yes.
I want to say hi to everybody. Thanks, Jeff. You said cool show already. We didn't even get into it. So tonight, again, is going to be finishing off our thanks to certain people over the last year and getting into, this is a huge, huge geek month.
Yes.
The Walking Dead just wrapped up its season last night. You have Avengers Endgame coming out, which is
Very excited for that.
what, like it seems like 100 years in the making. It was so long, you know, from
Very
the first
excited.
Iron Man to now, and it was all leading up to this moment.
Yep.
And another long anticipated return of Game of Thrones.
Yes. I know my
And-
husband's really excited for that.
I think what was between this season and last season was like 20 years, I think. At least it seemed like it. For way
It did
way
seem-
too
it's
long
funny
of a break.
'cause
It really is like over 2 years, I think.
It is over 2 years because I was pregnant with the last season and my daughter's going to be 2. So,
Oh yeah,
2 in
another good
August.
point. Cobra Kai, the second. Oh no, did you see Cobra Kai?
no.
You don't know what you're
I,
missing.
I
We'll talk
fail
about that a little bit
on
today
geekdom.
too. Cobra Kai is basically Karate Kid today.
Okay.
It follows the events of the characters today, as they are today as adults, and how it affected their life. And it is great. It is so funny, and you're gonna change your whole view on how you looked at the Karate Kid, because Ralph Macchio was actually the bad guy and the bully, if you think about it. And
Really?
this show, yeah, sure. He's a new kid in town. He steals a guy's girlfriend,
Oh, I guess that's
beats him up,
a good point.
steals his thing, gets his karate dojo shut down, and yeah.
I guess it's true.
So yeah, it's a good show. But anyway, we're gonna get into our sponsors, and then we'll get into the show, and so we don't run out of time again.
Yeah.
You know, 'cause there's a lot of things to cover tonight. So we're gonna get right for it. We want to talk about Frank Zambuto and Kayla Logistics.
Frank.
Kayla Logistics, where your business is our priority. Moving products you use every day across the country and around the world. Contact Frank Zambuto for all of your domestic and international logistic projects. Frank has over 20 years experience working with many name brand companies in the apparel, cosmetics, as seen on TV, and electronics industries. For trucking, air, and ocean cargo on all 7 continents, all you need is one solution. To all Cool Cat listeners, just mention our show, and Frank will offer a free cost and transit time analysis for all your cargo. When cost and time matter, we deliver. Frank Zambuto and K Logistics, where your business is our priority. You can reach Frank direct at 347-536-3933 or email him at frank@klogistics.com. Frank is an expert in the field. If you follow him on Facebook, you know he's predicted a lot of stuff that's going to go on with the market and
Yep.
trades and stuff like that. He knows his stuff. He knows about the tariffs. If there's any questions, give him a call and he can steer you in the right direction. And another exciting thing, we are pleased to welcome back Day 3 Botanicals.
Hey.
They are well known for their organically grown full spectrum hemp oil rich in CBD. It is wonderful for aches and pains, stress, anxiety, inflammation, and better sleep. The sublingual drops are easy to use once or twice a day or as directed by your healthcare professional. As promised, after months of trials and testing, Day 3 is proud to offer you their very own Hemp Supreme Pet Formula.
Yes.
A convenient-to-use liquid in a dropper bottle that allows you to flavor your pet's favorite treat with a healthy full-spectrum hemp oil to safely aid your pet's inflammations, aches, and pains, to relax and calm them, and help them sleep better at night. Visit day3botanicals.com to see their current lineup, and I'm very excited about this. A new topical pain cream is coming soon.
Yes.
Remember to use our exclusive Cool Cats 10 discount code for listeners to get 10% off your order at the time of checkout. You can mix and match, and remember that all Day 3 products are organically grown in the United States. No foreign hemp oil, no synthetic CBD. They make Day 3 products with your health and well-being in mind. Visit day3botanicals.com for current prices and complete product information. And remember to use the exclusive Cool Cats 10 discount code for our listeners. Now, if you're listening online without seeing the pictures, Day 3 is spelled out DAYTHREE, botanicals.com, and the code is CoolCats10. We got some people that can't see the screen, so we'll make it a little easier for them. But both those sponsors are thanks to my cousin and his wife, Frank and Sarah.
Wonderful, wonderful human beings.
Awesome, awesome people, and I didn't check in with Frank beforehand. He's probably shooting darts with the Irish Pub right now. And I want to thank those guys too. I will actually be there Wednesday night.
And Tony and I are going to try extremely hard to be there for you.
It's going to be a cool night. Sean wanted to do something with comedy. We're going back and forth. John Butera stepped up and decided to have a comedy night there, give him a feel for it. It might be a venue eventually for like an open mic night or more comedy shows.
Awesome.
Which would be really good because it's closer to me. I don't have to go all the way out to Suffolk, or, there's some good stuff every night of the week now, but like Mondays are tough because I have this and whatever. So it would be nice to have another local venue to
And I would love
practice.
to go and support the bar and,
And it's not only is it going to be a bunch of really good comedians. The headliner is our favorite Paul Bond. Paul is a great friend of me and the show. He's helped us out. We took his course beforehand because Teresa didn't have any experience in this type of thing. So we kind of ran through in his workshop what it would be like to be on air. And boom, she came out swinging right out of the gate. So thanks to everybody. Thanks to Paul. And it's just going to be a really fun night. And that's going to be my warm-up to another big event that's going on this month. Friday, April 12th, I will be at the Loft in Belmore. It is the finals for the Aragona's new funny comedian. I forget exactly what it is, but it's a bunch of new comics. I don't think it's Nassau anymore because I know a couple of people from Suffolk in, but it's going to crown one of the funniest comedians on Long Island. And the first prize is no joke. I mean, not only do you get money and paid featured spots and get to headline your own show, get a spot on the Laughter Saves Lives tour, with Laughter Saves Lives does a show on this network as well, but you get a speaking role in a movie.
That's very cool.
It's Gender Bender 2, and the first Gender Bender had big names in it. It had people like Gilbert Gottfried, Eric Roberts, Joey Cola, so...
That's exciting.
That's a pretty... I win this, it really could push me to the next level.
That's a pretty solid first prize.
Yeah, and it would be nice to start making some money in comedy, And, yeah, it's just, I'm looking forward to it. It's really exciting. There's some stiff competition, though. The second round of round one was just this past Saturday, and I heard they just headed out of the park. The comedians that moved on from that round. So it's going to be some stiff competition. Whoever wins has earned it. It's going to be something. I can't wait.
Well, I'm rooting for you.
And also, some of the judges will be performing that night. I don't know exactly who, but it doesn't matter because they're all
hysterical,
really good people. So again, thanks to John Butera for giving me the opportunity to enter that contest and for helping me out with Sean and the Irish Pub this Wednesday.
That's awesome.
So now, to wrap up the thanks, there were some people, we can't mention everybody, and if we don't mention you, I'm really sorry. It's not that you were forgotten about or just, it's just, we could spend 2 days just going through every name we've had over the last year. But another notable big name who's getting the tour right now, Chris Roach.
Yes.
He's going on tour with Kevin James. I don't know if you saw that. That was in
I
Newsday.
I did see that, and that's very exciting.
Yeah, he's getting to open for him on his tour, and that's, good for him because Chris is a great guy,
Oh,
very
absolutely.
funny guy.
Yeah, he was so nice. And he's hysterical.
I mean, now here's a guy. When I first met him, he was still an actor on a current TV show, and he came out of his way to come and say hi to me,
Yeah.
which I thought was really cool.
That is very cool.
And yeah, I just wish him all the best, and hopefully he gets to go on tour and maybe bring one of us with him,
Ooh.
which would be cool. Volunteer? Nah. And some other guests we had. I know you
Super
wanted to mention.
Sandwich Bros.
Yes.
I'm very good friends with Joe, even though they're both named Joe.
Yes.
Um,
Joe is the best one of the Sandwich Brothers.
Best Joe ever.
Yeah.
And they are awesome, and they promote all the local restaurants on Long Island, and
We almost had Teresa eating bacon that night.
almost, but didn't get me.
Very close.
Didn't get me. For those of you that don't know, I love pig, and I would like a pet pig, and eating pig is just wrong. How can you have a pet pig and then want to eat bacon? Terrible. Not right. But anyway.
That's because you don't know how good it tastes.
I used to. Anyway.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, I wanted to thank them, and I couldn't believe that. I forgot to mention it, guys. I'm really sorry. Last week, because you know they're like a new up and coming like restaurant reviewer, food reviewer in Long Island. So.
Oh, and actually, we could tie in who's one of the judges who was a guest on the show, Fat Jay.
Fat Jay. I didn't know he was a judge.
Yes, he also was a judge in the first round that I was in. I got up and formed, and he's always fun to watch. He's come such a long way over the last couple of years.
I really enjoyed him, and it's just a small world because he also happens to know my husband, and I get a huge kick out of that, you know, that everybody knows each other somehow.
Yes.
But he's great, and he's hysterical.
And we had your husband's doppelganger on.
That's right, Jeff.
Jeff, the artist, who unfortunately I never did get to go down there. It's just been really busy for me.
I saw Jeff at work on Friday at RC Dugan's, and I told him, I was like, please come back on the show when I can actually be there. He has another...
I'd like him to bring some of his stuff in, too.
I would
if
love
possible.
that, yeah. And I know that he has another art show somewhere else coming up in May, I believe. I don't want to be wrong.
Yeah, my goal was to go down there with you on a Saturday night and
Yeah.
check it out, but I haven't really had a Saturday free.
We'll make it work. One day we'll actually get off the set and out.
Yes. Actually, it was really nice. Saturday night, I was originally supposed to be in Governor's Little Room, but people didn't buy tickets early like they were supposed to, so I got shut out of the show.
Which
But
is a huge bummer.
It actually turned out to be a good thing, and I'll tell you why. We went to Wayne French Kitchen in Oceanside, which I know you came to us before.
Yes.
Monica was working again, and it turns out that we basically ended up kind of crashing a 40th surprise birthday party.
That's awesome.
We went down there,
That place
hanging
is
out.
excellent.
Yeah. I went with a couple other friends of mine, and we were hanging out because we saw Monica was going to be there, and we were going to have karaoke. And then, sure enough, they start bringing in balloons. I see a big 40. They got everything getting set up, all decorations, and it was a fun show. Let me tell you,
That's awesome.
They had a drag queen
My
performing.
favorite.
It was funny because I was waiting to see it, but it was one of the ones like any man will do or something. But no, it was I forget the name that she went by there. Hey, another good friend, Joey. We
Hi,
mentioned you last week. I hope all is
Joey.
well. I'll get back to Saturday night, but Joey, now that you're tuning in, I want to say one of the most memorable shows from last year was the charity one.
Absolutely.
You know,
100%.
The first show he was on was definitely good, but being able to do what we did because of him
Yeah.
was
Big deal.
amazing, helping
Big
a kid
deal.
out that's sick, and hopefully all is well. Yeah, it was Vanessa Valtrap or something. Yeah, I forget exactly who the drag queen was, but it was fun. Then we're singing karaoke.
That's a good night.
Yeah, they actually put me in for Steel Panther.
How'd that go?
It went pretty well because I did Community Property, and if you're familiar with the band and you know the song, it's
Personal favorite.
not really family friendly, and there's
Absolutely
a
not.
lot of people, but they got into it. They did get into it. They had a lot
It's
of fun.
funny. It's a very funny
Yes.
song.
And if you don't know Steel Panther, go
Look them
check
up.
them out because
Absolutely, look
very,
them up.
Very funny band.
Yeah.
But yeah, that so Saturday night ended up being a pleasant surprise.
Joey, you're forever in our heart. You're the best.
And check out Joey too. Go to his page
DJ
because
Joey.
he DJs, he does karaoke, he does a whole bunch of stuff. So
Like all of our guests, multi-talented.
yeah, and he's
And a good person.
we had it because he was multi-talented, and also he was one of the actors in the Haunted House.
Yeah.
So
For the Halloween special.
yes, and then it turned out to be a Christmas charity
Christmas,
special.
yeah.
So, all worked out. So yeah, that was that. Is there anyone else or anything you want to mention over the last year?
I'm sure that I'm going to get in my car and be like, oh, I forgot to say, and then
Yeah,
it'll,
there was just
you know.
so many people throughout the year.
And honestly, the 1 year felt like 10.
Oh, there's one I want to mention. He came out and helped me out one night when you weren't here. Mike. My friend Mike, who co-hosted. And the reason why I want to bring him up, and
Hi,
I was
Mike, if
actually
you're listening.
waiting, I ran out of time last week. Eventually, the Newman Show is going to get off the ground, and he's going to probably help me out with that.
That's
in some
awesome.
form, whether it's going to be co-host, the Ed McMahon to the Johnny Carson. There will be
Yeah.
some format in which he's involved. So, yeah, Jen tuning in the charity show was legit. I think my dad won the raffle. If you do another, would like to help promote to raise money.
Yeah.
To raise more money. Absolutely, we definitely do.
We're always
If
down
you
for
guys
helping
need
people.
a charity thing, definitely reach
always.
out to us.
And not just people, but animals. You know, like our friend
Paul.
Paul Bond, who does so much for the cats. Like, we love giving back. So if anybody knows anybody or anything, any animal, anything that needs some help, let us know.
Yeah, we'll always try.
here.
We'll promote it here. We'll try to put together another show.
Yeah,
whatever
that
it is.
was that was one of my favorite memories of life, not just
Yeah, it was great.
show.
And again, the caliber of comedians that came down that night for free.
Yeah, that was a big
Donated
deal.
their time, and again, these are comics that get paid
Super
pretty well to do
talented
what
people,
they do,
yeah.
and they gave up their entire night to. And people could say whatever, you know. What was it? A Sunday night? Sunday night's a big night
Was
for
it a Sunday
comics.
night?
Was it? I forget, I'm pretty sure it was a Sunday. Yeah.
I should know because I very rarely get out, and I made it out today.
Yes, it was a Sunday because you took off that day.
Yes, yes.
And Sunday might be a day
Good
of
memory.
rest for, you know, normal people, but comics are not normal people, and it was not a day of rest for them. So, you know, the fact that they gave that up, I really appreciate. Everyone that came down that night was a part of it, including Frank from Craving Strange, and
yeah.
guys from work
I would
that
love
came.
to have them on.
Mike helping collect the money at the door.
Yeah.
You know, it just everything.
We have good friends.
Jen, especially because she brought a lot of people down there, and I'm eventually going to be working on some projects with Jen this year too. Saying this year, it's already April. Gotta get off my ass and start
it's
doing
like
things.
crazy.
But
Yeah, but did you see that meme that was floating around that was like, all right, it's been a hard few months, but I'm ready to start 2019?
yeah,
That's
and it's
how I
been going
feel,
around for
yeah.
everybody. It seems. I know we discussed it.
Everybody, everybody.
He was off to a real rough start between being sick and injured, and I'm looking forward to having him on next week. That's going to be a lot of fun.
It is, yeah. But yeah, everybody I talk to, it's the same story. Everybody's has, you know, some kind of illness or something going on. It's just
Right.
how it is.
Now I want to start our
Geek-
TV
geek
and
talk?
stuff with The Walking Dead because unfortunately a lot of people checked out of the show.
I
So I'll start
checked
with this and
out.
I'll
So
end
you're
with the big
talking by
stuff.
yourself, bro, because I checked out.
And here's why I like it. It did dip sometimes over the years. Like the season of Terminus to me, I personally didn't like it.
I love that one.
Well, it was
That's-
a lot of
that
them
was my last
traveling
season.
down, and it was very anticlimactic because they got there, they got captured. Oh, they're gonna realize they messed with the wrong people, and they were out. It was over. A whole build up to really an anticlimactic.
You know what? I think
it
that
wasn't
they
like
started
with the governor. It wasn't like with Negan. It just was over.
the first season. I was very, very attached and very glued to the TV,
Right.
and they started off very, very strong. And I think it was hard for them, in my opinion, to keep that momentum because they
It
started
is.
so strong. Because I checked out after the third season. Terminus was the third one, right?
I couldn't tell you what season.
I checked out. I know it was the
probably know
third.
better.
No, I forget. Well, I started working at another bar Sunday night, and then I also worked Monday and Tuesday night. So like I would try to catch up, and then I would eventually like forget because I
Right.
worked 3 nights in a row, and I just completely checked out. And then whenever I'd go back to watch it, I was disappointed.
Oh,
So
I just
know that.
want to throw in there, if you do watch The Walking Dead, I'm not really going to throw many spoilers out about last night's show, so don't tune out. So, go ahead.
And I didn't watch it, so you don't have to worry about it. Because I checked out. I tried to get back into it when Negan was
I love
on
Negan.
it because everybody I talked to loved Negan, loved the character, loved the season. A lot of people I knew that do cosplay were cosplaying Negan. Boom. And it really piqued my interest, and I still just couldn't get back into it.
Well, here's one thing I just want to say in general about all movies and shows. Someone writes a show, everybody likes it. It's a big hit. Then all of a sudden, all the critics come out of the woodwork, and it's too violent. It's too this. It's
But
too lame. It's
You mean
if this
professional
character
critics
goes,
or
no.
like
when
Facebook
when I say
critics?
coming out of the woodwork, I mean the Facebook critics, and even you know what? Even sometimes some legitimate critics.
Because all those
They
people
just
still watch
trash
it.
everything, no matter what it does.
Yeah.
Remember when Sopranos got really big? All of a sudden, they were getting attacked in the press. It's too violent. It's stereotyping Italian. Just doing it. What Italian wasn't watching The Sopranos and enjoying it? The whole point, it was a mob show. It wasn't stereotyping Italians. It was a mob show about Italians and the mob. That's not a stereotype. They also had Italians that were psychiatrists. They had Italians that were cops and the FBI and everything else. But you don't look at that. You just look at, oh, Tony Soprano, they're glorifying him. And honestly, if you watch The Sopranos, they didn't glorify the mob life. It was
So-
horrible for everybody in it.
Something that I have learned, especially with the way people utilize social media, is that everybody likes to complain.
Yes.
And everybody thinks that what they have to say
More important than
is
anybody else.
is correct, and nobody else, can have an opinion, and nobody else's opinion is right. And you just have to kind of roll with that. If people want to believe that, then let them believe it.
They did start giving it to the critics, and the show got lame, and they started losing people, so they went back to the roots, and it happened to Star Wars, too. It got so cartoony
Yeah,
at the end.
yeah,
Star Wars
I
was
agree.
not really a kid's show.
Right.
It became one, and when the whole Ewok thing was garbage because that was supposed to be a planet of Chewbacca, basically. The Wookiees. It was supposed to be a Wookiee planet, and they were supposed to be violent, ripping people apart. Instead of making these little cartoony things, blah, 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 Stop giving it to credit. If anyone listening that writes shows or whatever, if you become a success, just keep doing what you're doing. Screw what everybody else thinks about it, because you became number one because of that.
But that's the thing. I'm not going to say who, 'cause it's a little controversial, but there's people out there that, they are exactly who they are, and they don't care what anybody thinks. And, even if they are controversial, they're still, doing well because
Right.
they own exactly who they are. What you see is what you get. And, people like what people like, and, people don't like what people don't like. It's just a matter of not caring.
Right.
About someone else's opinion of something I like. I have turned into a huge Disney nerd after having my daughter. Nobody that knows me, especially for a long time, would ever expect that.
And it's funny because everybody's afraid because Disney's starting to take over everything.
Let me tell you. So I took a class in college that was anti-Disney. It was an excellent, excellent class. And I learned then, and this was about 6-7 years ago, that Disney already owns everything.
But the funny
Now
thing
it's
is,
just under the Disney name as opposed to a Disney-owned name.
people were afraid of Disney taking over Star Wars and the Marvel movies and everything because it's going to be so childlike. Disney movies are dark.
Yeah.
If the parents aren't dead already,
And they're
they
well
usually
done.
kill them off. Look at stuff like Bambi. It's not the nicest.
I actually can't watch Bambi because
So-
it upset, and I can't watch the first half of The Lion King.
Yeah,
to this day, and I'm
Disney
30.
movies don't always have happy endings and stuff
No,
like that.
absolutely
It seems
not.
like they do, but I like what Disney did with Star Wars because it kind of brought it back to the roots. It's what it was again, and it wasn't always nice. And
Disney also has a very high expectation for quality.
right.
So I've very rarely been disappointed with, especially a newer Disney movie. I think the quality is always
I really
excellent.
don't watch Disney movies anymore.
I totally.
But I watch Disney-owned stuff
After
like Star
having my
Wars
daughter,
and stuff
yeah,
like
it's the same. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
After having my daughter, I jumped, dove all the way down deep into Disney.
And they know how to make money.
Really enjoy. Brilliant.
They know how to make money.
Brilliant. I wish I could go back and tell people to take that class because it was fascinating and, from a business point of view, brilliant.
And I love how people throw a Mickey Mouse operation out like it's an insult. I'd love to be in a Mickey Mouse operation because they own the world at
Yeah.
this point.
Yeah.
You even go to Florida where Disney World is. The water towers are in the shape of Mickey's ears and everything because they own the town. They own the land.
Yeah,
they
they
own
own everything.
Very, very smart business people.
Absolutely. And they don't seem too scummy.
Yeah.
You know,
well,
if-
I'm sure they are because they just probably hide it very well.
I mean, maybe, but
I know Walt Disney himself was looked at as a hero at the time, but then when The Dark Secrets came out, he wasn't that nice of a guy.
they always come
But,
out, though.
yeah.
That's true. That they always come out. But I feel like if they were really that dreadful, we'd find out about it.
I want to kind of steer this back, though, and get back to The Walking Dead. And we have to, so we
Crap,
can
but I can
the
talk
other
about
stuff.
Disney. I can't talk about The Walking Dead.
Well,
It's been a while.
to me, what I was going to say, what I like about it is when it started out, it was like, what if the zombie apocalypse was real? And the first threat was, where is everybody? What are these things? How do we kill them? Is everybody okay? And it was them going to the CDC and doing all these different things. Then when they established what was going on and what the threat was, the new threat came.
Right.
The people.
Right.
Which I think is very realistic, because it's not going to be
Absolutely.
whatever is causing the apocalypse. It's going to be the other people in their survival. And you saw, I forget what the group was that picked Daryl up, and then you had the governor, you had the saviors, you had all this. And what I like about it is basically this last season, now that they have their established towns, so to speak, and the different leaders of them, they kind of forgot about the zombie apocalypse and the threats in it. They were living normal lives again. They were having kids. They
You
were
told me this last week, yeah.
Yeah, they were living lives that kind of were similar to what they had before. So they kind of almost forgot the dangers of the new world they're living in, because they were behind their little closed walls, you
Enclosure.
know. They went out and they ventured, maybe they ran into a horde of zombies or whatever, but then they came across this group, which I was waiting for a long time because I heard the buzz about it, the Whispers. And man, if you watch this season, once it kicked in, and once that fairy tale was over, man, last week's episode was brutal. It was, in a lot of ways,
See,
I
but
think it
this
was
is
worse than the
also-
Glenn and Abraham one with Negan.
Ooh, that's tough.
And I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me,
I saw that
but I bet you
episode.
most of the people that disagree with me are the ones who gave up on watching. A lot of people that didn't tune out already tuned out after Rick was gone. I said in the beginning that he's probably the one character they can't get rid of because it's his story.
I used
but at
to
the
say
point
that
when
too.
you got rid of him, I was glad they did, because I got tired of Rick.
Yeah.
Good Rick was a wuss and caused more problems than anything. Bad Rick started getting really bad to the point where he was worse than Negan and the governor. So
That's where I checked out, though, so
you know,
I can't even.
it was time for him to go. And again, if you like a show, it's more than the characters. If they kill Daryl, we're going to write, then you're not a fan of the show. You're a fan of his, which if you were a fan of the show, you wouldn't like him anyway because he wasn't even part of it.
Right.
He wasn't in the comics. So appreciate it for what it is. And these threats are real
Yes.
for them now.
Appreciate it for what it is. I say that about pretty much anything I watch.
And again, without giving spoilers for last night's episode, because I know a lot of people probably haven't seen it yet if you're watching it, it was very anticlimactic after last week's. It probably would have been a good episode if last week wasn't what it was. And it wasn't you didn't see the anger and stuff that they should have had with what happened last week. And the cliffhanger of, hey,
know.
is anybody out there, didn't hold as much, because who cares? It's like, what are they going to do to Alpha? What are they going to do to Beta? Is Negan going to get back involved? There's a lot of questions. I agree, Joey. Last week should have been the finale. Alpha is a badass, and the way I see it playing out, I think Carol's going to turn back into evil Carol. I think her and Alpha are going to have it out. I think Negan's going to be back in top form, and I think he's going to take out Beta. That's what I would like to see.
So when's the next season coming?
Well, it just wrapped up last night,
Night.
so probably the summer, I guess, they'll have the premiere.
See, I don't know if I could check back into it. I feel like I'm too far gone.
Well, V didn't watch any of the season. She basically caught up over the last couple of days, and she just flipped out over last week's episode. It's very powerful, and again, because some people haven't caught up, it was sort of what was in the comic book, but they did make some changes like they've been doing from the beginning. But man, it got you. It wasn't so much when you saw, it was when the story was retold and you saw like the flashback of what happened. Man. Yeah, the comics do have Negan killing Alpha and cutting her head off, which could happen. I mean, sometimes they do exactly what the comic does. Sometimes
See,
they completely go off.
When
V
I
said she
first,
cried.
Aw.
Now, V, being you just saw it, how would you compare this episode to the Glenn and Abraham episode? What do you think was more, I don't want to say shocking, whatever,
a
how
tough
would you put it? It was a tough
episode.
one.
I watched that one.
But I kind of saw
I think
it
we watched
coming.
it at the bar. I think it was on the bar because it's when I first started working Sunday nights, and we tried to keep it on the bar.
There
and
was a
then
little twist with
some
that.
some kind of sports came on. And
Everyone kind of saw what was going to happen. They just weren't sure who. There was a lot of things out there. I had my
but nobody
theory.
wanted it to be Glenn.
We knew
I
it
didn't
was-
want it to be Glenn.
We knew it was Glenn in the comics because that got out there. I felt Abraham, because in my opinion, Negan was smarter than anyone gave him credit for, and he saw Abraham as a threat because he was a big, strong, military-trained guy who did not care about his own life, wasn't really part of the group, so he could go rogue and take him out. I think he saw everybody else as workable.
That takes
like
away the
he could benefit the sanctuary.
But that takes away the shock value if it was Abraham because he doesn't care about his own life, and Glenn had a lot to live for.
It was a shock value because everyone was expecting it to be Glenn because of the comics.
See, I didn't read the comics.
Well, I didn't either yet, but
I'm
it was
just here to disappoint all of you.
I mean, if you were on Facebook anywhere, oh my God, I hope they don't kill Glenn like in the comic. It was everywhere. The spoilers were out there everywhere, which I hate too. Stop with that. Before the episodes.
No, you know when the spoilers are going to get bad?
Neck.
When Avengers Endgame is on, that's when people have to watch the spoilers.
Well, that's another thing I don't like too.
I will be very upset.
The shows themselves do it. Like,
What do you mean?
you know someone's not re-signing and they announce it.
Oh.
So you know, if they're not killing them off, they're at least writing them off the show. Stop announcing it. Keep that secret like you do the episodes. And when that person does get killed off or written off, you could say, hey, they didn't re-sign the contract. Because you know, and I want to save Avengers Endgame for last because that's probably the most excitable one. But you know a lot of people's contracts up in this. But you don't know who's getting killed, if anybody. So I do kind of like that. No, in Endgame.
Oh, who's left?
Who's actually going to get killed, if anyone's coming back, if, you know, whatever.
It's very suspenseful.
Yeah, because, but again,
left
stop
on one
announcing
hell
the contracts
of a cliffhanger. Yeah.
You knew Rick was leaving the season. All right, so they didn't kill him off, but they wrote him off because they had the movie going and they announced all that and stuff. But Maggie didn't really get killed off. She walked away to find herself. But now we know Michonne isn't re-signing, or next season's the last season. Stop. Let them kill him off so it's more shocking at the time. You know, oh my God, I can't believe they killed him off. Oh, well, they didn't re-sign. Then on the Talking Dead after...
Is there a reason, maybe like a legal or moral reason, that they choose to announce that they're leaving? Because usually...
Because everybody needs to... People want to open the Christmas gifts in June at this point. They want to know everything.
No, but I usually see
everybody
like
puts
when...
the stuff out there.
The woman that plays Fiona for Shameless, she posted that there's a whole other season with her still in it. I think coming out or is already out. I don't know. I haven't seen Shameless in a while. But she wrote this whole like heartfelt thing about leaving the show, even though there's still
But like I said, the studio doesn't announce it and
So
stuff.
but is there?
If you go on IMDb, sometimes they'll say, like, if it's a 16-season episode, they'll have them in 4,
But
so
I wonder,
you know,
like,
you know.
my point is, I wonder if there's a bigger reason to them announcing it other than the attention, or you know, like, is there something that makes them say it?
I don't know. I guess because they're excited to promote their new shows or whatever's going on. That's why a lot of people thought Daryl was getting
Like,
killed
I
off.
didn't know if it was like a contract
Daryl had the
issue
second show going,
or...
the motorcycle show, or I forget what it's called, like Riot or whatever it is.
I didn't know
Riot
that.
with Norman Reedus. So everyone's like, oh, he's dying.
That's a spin-off?
No,
Or it's
it's
just
just
on
him
his own
riding a
show.
motorcycle around different parts of the world or whatever. It's completely different.
Oh,
Has
that's
nothing to
pretty
do with
cool.
it. And he was gonna start being in movies again. So everyone thought for sure he was getting killed off a couple of seasons ago, and he didn't.
See,
so.
I always loved him because I'm a huge fan.
Yeah, Michonne is doing some episodes in the movie. They didn't kill everybody off that signed off. Some crossed over to the I forget what the other show is called. The spinoff of The Walking Dead.
I don't know.
I forget. Via, Joey, Tommy.
Is it the Fear of
Thank
the
you,
Walking
Jeff.
Dead?
Fear of the Walking Dead, yes.
I know.
You're right. Negan does kill with a comic flair. I love the Neganisms, and I heard once this ends, I got to go back and read the comics because I heard Negan's even funnier in the comics.
That
His
dark
lines are even
humor.
better, yeah. And my theory, because so many people are checking out and nobody wants to see, like, they just want hordes of zombies getting killed every week in battles and shootouts and everything. They don't appreciate the story and build-up anymore.
For me, I
And if
got
it wasn't for that,
bored.
you wouldn't care about Carol. You wouldn't care about Daryl. You wouldn't care when Glenn got killed. If they didn't build these characters up, you wouldn't care when they got killed off.
For me, I got bored. Like, it was a timing issue with my job, but I also got bored because I kind of felt like they were recycling the same theme over and over and over.
See, I kind of saw that with Rick, and that's why I wanted him gone, because he was good Rick. He wanted everybody to help. He got screwed over. He turned into bad Rick, killed all the bad guys. Then he turned into good Rick and wanted everybody to live in harmony again.
Yeah.
Then someone screwed him over. He turned into bad Rick, killed all the
It was the same thing over and over and over, I felt.
Oh, before I wrap up Walking Dead, I almost forgot. He did have an awesome line last week, and it's not spoiling anything. When he's talking to Michonne, and she was saying about I forget how it built up, as she was saying about the bad people, and he's like, the problem is everyone thinks they're doing the right thing. Because if you think about it, it's true. The governor thought he was doing the right thing by his people. Negan definitely thought he was doing the right thing by his people because they were living a happy life. And
Right.
again, even when he did kill Abraham and Glenn off, Rick and his group killed a lot of their people. Some in their sleep, just in the outpost. And
This one I
he
can't
just said,
comment on.
look, you did this, now you're going to work for me. I'm going to let you all live. I'm taking one person. You killed a lot of mine. I'm only going to kill one of yours. And then he did. And then, of course, Daryl got up and, went after him. So he goes, well, I was going to keep it at one. Now we're going to make it two. So was Negan really a bad guy for that? Of course, when you love the characters, you're going to feel that way.
Yeah.
But from his point of view, he lost a lot of people. And again, they were going stabbing people in their sleep. So who was the bad group in that? It's kind of Rick's group. They did it for what they thought was right because they saw that the Saviors as a threat.
Right.
And they wanted to kill them before they got killed. But is that any different than what the Whisperers are doing or what the governor was doing? Don't forget, his people needed a place to go, and he saw the jail as a good opportunity, so he wanted to take the jail over for his people to survive.
Yeah, there's so much I could say,
Yeah.
but I only have the first 3 seasons
Well,
worth
even
of knowledge.
seeing the first 3 seasons, you saw every
'Cause I
group
could
they
say,
came
like-
across thought they were doing the right thing.
Right, but you could also,
Even the group that kidnapped Glenn in the hospital. Remember, they were just trying to get the drugs for the family that was sick?
oh God, I don't remember.
That was like
That's
season
really
2, I
testing
think.
it. But like with Terminus, like their story was really sad, I thought, because of the fact that they were very open and welcoming, and then they had like, enemies come and like steal from them and rape them and murder them and whatever, and then they became cannibals.
Yeah.
I thought that was really sad because
And again, were they bad for that? They did what they needed to do to survive.
right, they had to survive, but I thought it was very sad that they were so open and loving, and then that's what happened, and then that's what they turned into, so I think in a zombie apocalypse situation, the human condition kicks in, and you have to do what you have to do to survive, and people aren't naturally nice,
No. All right, let's kill the Walking Dead talk because we are running out of time.
Good, because I really have no idea what I'm talking about.
We'll touch on Game of Thrones because Game of Thrones obviously didn't start yet, but it's highly anticipated. I can't wait to see what happens this season, and then we'll end on Marvel. So, with Game of Thrones, man, there's just so many options. I had to go back and rewatch last season because it's
I
been so
want to
long.
watch it too. Tony, get ready.
But what's gonna happen? I mean, there's just who's gonna take the throne? Is anybody gonna take the throne? Will the dead just overtake everybody? I mean, there's so many different things that could happen.
I'm pretty excited. I was pretty bummed when the White Walker got the dragon, and now they have the ice dragon, and
Right.
that's pretty crazy, and I'm very excited to see what happens with
And
that.
even though the whole wall didn't fall, enough of it fell that they're breached now. There's no
oh,
going
totally,
back.
totally.
And again, having a dragon on top of things, they did get the different fighting groups together to go after the common cause, except for Cersei, because she's going to stand on her own. And again, they would kind of.
I really hope that bitch goes down.
I know who I like. Certain things I want to happen, but I have a feeling, like almost like she's going to win.
No, I would be sincerely
I don't
disappointed.
want it. I would be too, because again,
sincerely
even
disappointed.
Jamie's against her now.
But I wouldn't be super shocked if that happened, but I would be sincerely disappointed.
But actually, I do see how they could get to her, and the secret's Arya. Because I don't think they know Littlefinger's dead. The faceless people, they put the face on, somehow they transform into the full body. She's done it several times before. And I think with Arya, she's probably the biggest badass in there, because she's the smallest.
Yeah.
But
you
even
don't
from when she
expect
was
it.
like 12 in the thing, she goes after everybody. She
Yeah.
wasn't afraid of the mountain. She went after her with the little needle and all that stuff when she was slightly trained. Now she's a killer.
Yeah, totally.
Brianna Tarth found that out when she beat her in the battle.
Yeah.
And she has the ability to beat anybody that she's killed. So, she could go in this Littlefinger to advise Cersei and just, that would be real easy for her. But that would, that might be a little anticlimactic. Who knows? Jamie could take her out.
I doubt it.
Because he did see the side of her. Well, first of all, he's like the only one in his family that likes Tyrion. And he saw the other side of it. He's like, look, they need a help. Fuck them, let them all go and die. She doesn't care. He left
Yeah.
to do that. And she was blowing him off when she felt he was weak after he lost his hand and everything else like that, at some point he might wake up and, you know, he could get closer to her than anybody, you know, face to face. But, you know, I said the Mountain, the Hound. But the Mountain is a factor too, because now he's like some zombie killer. He's like some super strong. He was bad enough before. Now he's even worse. So he's loyal to her. I would love to see that battle. I know they've been building that up. You know, the two Zane brothers going at it. The Hound and the
I'm
Mountain.
curious about the incestual relationship.
Well, see, the funny thing is,
I mean, granted, there's a lot of incest.
there was
in
incest
Game
through
of
the whole
Thrones.
thing. I don't. If they're shocked about it, I'll be shocked. Because don't forget, the Targaryens had a lot of incest going on too.
Well, I don't think they'd be. You think that they wouldn't be shocked if they find out that they're cousins? They had no idea.
I think they'll be shocked
Or
about
no,
that.
isn't it
It's
aunt and nephew?
I don't think they'll be shocked about that. I don't think they'll be shocked. All right. I think they'll be shocked that they're related, but will it stop the relationship?
Oh, absolutely not. That I wasn't even.
Because that's what I'm saying. If they're like, oh my God, we can't do this, then come on. She slept with her brother. She was passed around with everybody. She's had her history. Maybe he's a little bit more pure with stuff like that.
Sure.
But, I mean, first of all, in the royal days, that was common incest. Because
It
they didn't want
was.
to taint the royal blood.
Yep.
I mean, you got twins sleeping with each other. People were disgusted by that, which I could understand. But, you know, an aunt and nephew, is that so far-fetched at this point with all the other stuff that's happened? I
I mean,
don't
maybe
think
in
so.
their world, probably not.
Now, again, I think the way most people would like to see it end is with those two sitting on the throne.
Absolutely.
Sure.
That's how I would like to see it personally.
I think
but
another cool
that's.
twist.
I feel like that's way too fangirl of me, and that's not going to actually happen.
and that's a happy ending.
Because
And there's no happy endings in
Yeah,
it.
and too
they
many
said that.
people want that.
They said that. They said something to this will not end well. There will be no happy ending here. They mentioned that in the thing in the show. I think another big twist, which is very possible, because it's someone who was probably the weakest character most of the way, who's actually gained some strength, Sansa.
Yeah.
Don't underestimate her.
I wouldn't
she
call
could,
her the weakest.
in the beginning, she was.
In the beginning,
in the
okay,
early days,
yeah,
she
yeah,
definitely
yeah.
was.
In the beginning, definitely.
She was given away to Joffrey to kind of mend the two families, keep going. She was. I mean, he wasn't that bad to her,
Right.
compared to Ramsay Bolton,
Right.
who destroyed her.
Totally.
But then turned her like cold. to
Yeah.
where she fed him to his own dogs and stuff like that. So
Which is fantastic revenge.
again, don't underestimate her. And she's also the one that could get to Arya, because Arya doesn't see her as a threat.
Also true.
So a lot of things could happen this season. I'm very excited to see it.
But do you really think that she would do anything to Arya?
I think she'll do what she needs to do. I think they've
think-
actually shown in some of the episodes how similar she was to Cersei.
Cersei. I was just about to say that.
Including her hairstyle in some of the episodes.
Just about. So
And
maybe.
remember, Cersei did like kind of coddle her a little bit and
Oh.
say, "You need to learn this. You need to learn
Yeah,
that." And taught
she
her some of the
did.
ways.
You know, it's funny because you made a comment how Cersei might get through, but maybe Sansa is the new Cersei and she's the one that comes,
Yeah.
you know, out of all of this. That'd be.
Joey, Tyrion was going to be king, but it came up a little short. That's a good sign. There's so much to cover in Marvel, so I kind of want to wrap up Game of Thrones too.
I think we
now.
said enough of what we
Yeah.
had to say. We
It's-
can't
it's
really
gonna be
get
an exciting
into it.
season.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting, but we really can't get into it until it
It's
starts.
going to be a short season, but every episode's going
It's
to be
very long.
Yeah, long.
Didn't they say like movie length?
Yeah, they keep throwing it around. I think it starts like an hour and 10 minutes, and eventually gets up to like an hour and a half, 2 hours as the season goes on. But yeah, I can't wait to see it. But they said it's gonna tear everybody apart.
I'm
How it
excited.
ends, and again, everyone could die.
Yeah.
Everyone.
I don't know. I think that I like the twist idea that Sansa's a new Cersei and she's probably going to.
Yeah, I think that could be, because that would be the thing. To me, I was like, what's the least possible thing to happen?
'Cause
And I was like,
from
ooh,
the-
Sansa taking the throne.
The first season to now, you know.
You did see her build.
Yeah. Excellent character build up
Yes.
in this show.
Yes.
Excellent.
The only thing I didn't like about Game of Thrones is that there were so many different side stories. I lost track of what was going on because they didn't come back. You know, sometimes like 3-4 seasons they go back to something and it's like, who is this person now?
My husband's really good at explaining to me little side stories because I get lost on that too.
Yeah, I did have to go back
And,
and watch it from the beginning, and a lot of things made sense.
Yeah.
Oh, and that was the other thing I did want to mention. Is Cersei pregnant? Now, when she saw the witch, like whatever episode that was, she said you'll have 3 children and they'll all whatever. Now, 2 things could happen. She could be lying that she's
Totally.
pregnant, which I
Totally.
think she would to get Jamie, or she could be pregnant and get killed before the baby's born.
Ooh.
So, because then she technically still only had 3. So there's a couple of things with that, but I think we kind of covered, unless there's anything else you want to say.
Nah.
So now the big excitement, Endgame.
This is what I'm really
Endgame.
excited for.
Did you see Captain Marvel?
I did not.
Okay, you really don't have to. It fits in the timeline of the Marvel movies.
I do want to try to see it before.
You don't have to. The only thing was what you knew already if you watched the after credit series of Infinity War is that he has the pager.
Right.
And he paged her before he disappeared, Nick Fury.
Right.
That's really the only tie-in between that movie and this.
Okay.
It fits in the timeline after Captain America.
Okay.
You know, when you go through the Marvel series and it tells you how to watch it from beginning to end, but outside of just her character development, there's nothing really linking it to Endgame.
I do still would like to try to see it, but I have comfort in knowing that I don't
It
have
did link
to
it
see
to Guardians of the Galaxy.
Did it really?
Cool, yeah, and I won't give too
love
many spoilers
Guardians of the
about Captain Marvel, obviously, either. Even though it has been out and you all should have seen it by now, I won't really do it. But you do, personally, I think she's way overpowered.
I don't know.
At
I
least in
haven't
that.
seen it.
But one thing Marvel has done, somebody to be really powerful in one movie and then down here in the next, and so who knows?
Absolutely.
If she goes in as powerful as she was in Captain Marvel, it'd be a 5-minute Endgame. So it's 3 hours, so obviously it's not going to go that way. I had my own theories on what's going to happen in Endgame. I think Hela will make a return. And it was funny because after I said that, like a couple weeks later, there's been some fan theories that Hela's hand was in the Endgame trailer.
Was
Touching
it?
Tony Stark. There's no way to really tell. 'Cause did you see the trailers?
Yeah.
There was one where Tony's in the ship and you see a hand on the shoulder. And they're saying if you look at the design of the outfit on her, it looks like Hela. I didn't see it that way. I saw Hela kind of joining forces with Thanos, which is why you need the extra muscle of Captain Marvel and stuff like that. And I saw her maybe fighting
That would
Hela.
be pretty interesting.
But there was a lot of similarities. Yeah, Ant-Man is definitely the key. And they did kind of say
Ant-Man.
that. And no, he's not going to shoot up his ass.
I love Ant-Man.
Actually, I would go into the ear if I was him. But, yeah, he could do that. Ant-Man is great, and you did see that in the trailer, which there's been a lot of fan theories about that, too. When did that happen? You know, because when you see him at the door, hey, open up, remember me?
Yeah.
You know, what was that live, or was that a tape they were watching? Because they did say, you know, there was something they said in the trailer. There's a whole fan theory on that where it said archive up in the corner. So, and one thing Marvel's very good at, have they had some, you know, mistakes or loopholes? Yeah, but when you're doing like 20 movies over that time, there's going to be some. But they've
Yeah.
been very good about throwing curveballs, like seeing the Hulk himself in Infinity War fighting in Wakanda when he wasn't there in the actual Infinity War. Or was he? Is he going to be in Endgame? Are they going to go back in time, and will Hulk be there, and will they refight that fight with Hulk, with Captain America, Captain Marvel, with Ant-Man, and, you know, a lot of things could happen.
So many things happen.
So, you know, where this is going to go, I don't know.
It's supposed to be 3 hours, right?
Yeah,
Because I'm actually looking forward to a 3-hour movie.
These, to me,
I
I don't know
will-
if 3 hours is enough. But you got to have a break at some point if you're going to go really over that. You know, to sit in a movie for 4 hours, I don't know. Because actually, technically, this is part 2 of Infinity War.
What do you mean?
Infinity War and Endgame were like
Yeah,
the same
yeah.
movie that they had to break up over 2. So it's really like a 5.5-hour movie, whatever it was. But you can see also in the trailers they're wrapping up some characters, the original Avengers, and there's a lot of theories on that. You know, all the original Avengers are going to die because all their contracts are up. Some are going to live, some aren't. In the comics,
I
different
feel
things
like
happen, which
it's
they're going to try to bring it in.
A tough thing to discuss because this literally has a million things that could happen, and that's literally said in the
comics
movie.
themselves have rebooted.
What do you mean rebooted?
Like there's different
Like-
versions of Spider-Man, there's different versions
Okay.
of Thor, there's different versions of everything. To me, I wouldn't kill Thor off
No.
or write him off because he's too good. I don't think they expected the movies to be as successful as they were, and putting him together with Guardians of the Galaxy was gold.
Yeah, agreed.
I wouldn't, I would re-sign him. And maybe not that you're gonna make new Thor movies, but have him in
But are
other
they
Marvel
planning
movies.
on making more like individual superhero movies
Well,
after this kind of?
because Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is back on track. They're going
And that's
back.
coming out after.
Yes.
Okay.
Spider-Man's gonna have another one in the summer. I don't know where it falls in the timeline. If I want
but
to
I
believe the trailer, it
also
would
feel
be
like
before
that-
this.
Lets us know who's going to come back and who's going to live and who's going to.
Not necessarily because you don't. Again, they jump back. Like Captain Marvel just came out in between Endgame and Infinity War, and has nothing to. It was like, actually, if you watch it, you find out she was kind of the first real Avenger.
I gotta watch it.
So they're gonna have a Black Widow movie, but it's gonna go back. It's gonna be like a character developing one. It's gonna be well before any of this.
All right.
So they do
Okay.
jump. And the Spider-Man trailer, obviously Spider-Man's in it because it's a Spider-Man movie, and you did see Nick Fury in it. So is it after Infinity War
See,
and
that's what I'm
Endgame, or is
saying,
it
like-
before? I personally think it's before. I think it's gonna backtrack a little bit again, but because
Yeah, but I feel like from someone that is invested in the movies before they're invested in the comics, and I know that's like a huge no-no in the geek world, but wouldn't that like bother? Like that would bother me. Like it would spoil it. I should say not bother. It would spoil it for me watching the Spider-Man movie, knowing that in Endgame, say he died, but then we're watching the movie that is before.
yeah,
Like
I mean,
that.
I
that
think
would
the ones
spoil
that
it
bring
for
it back,
me.
like Spider-Man and Guardians of the Galaxy, Guardians of the Galaxy may have a character or two killed off, but you're not going to lose all. I think the core is still going to be there.
Right.
Spider-Man, they just rebooted the Spider-Man series. I don't think they're going to kill him off.
Spider-Man is also one of those series that they've had so many different versions and so
Yeah.
many disappointing versions. Not necessarily disappointing to me, but
I think they rebooted it too much. They should have just continued on like they did with Batman.
I agree with that. But I also do really like the new Spider-Man. I think it fits the comics more of the comics that I.
Here's why I don't like it. If you saw Spider-Man, the individual movie, he was way too much a prodigy of Tony Stark. He was kind of stupid on his own, needed Tony to come save the day, up until the very end. And Spider-Man, Peter Parker was very, very smart. He created the suit, he created the webs, he was a genius. So could he look
But
up
he's
to
still
someone
a
like Tony Stark?
kid,
Absolutely. Yeah, but he was in the comics too. I mean, Tony could have enhanced him, but he shouldn't have been like that father figure helping him out of all the jams all the time. Because he did use him in Civil War, and he was a kid about it.
Yeah.
Hey,
yeah,
I know you. Have you ever been in a fight before? There's usually not this much talking. I mean, there were funny lines, and having him young like that was funny, but his suit was Iron Man. His training was Iron Man. Everything about it
That's
is.
true.
And I hope they don't do too much of this in the other Spider-Man movie. Let him be his own character. Because he
That's
deserves
true.
it. I mean,
Yeah,
Spider-Man
that's
was
true.
huge on its own. Spider-Man was a much bigger comic than Iron Man.
Yeah.
So let him have his day in the sun. And then
But I feel like they
I have
tried
heard there
so
is a
hard
reboot where
so
him
many
and Tony
times.
Stark work very well together. And Tony Stark is much further advanced in the technological world, and he's very smart too. You could have him guide him, but don't totally overshadow
Hi,
him.
Paul.
Love you too, Paul. Yeah, so that's pretty
you.
much it. Wow, we're out of time again. I want to talk
It
more
goes
about
so
Marvel.
fast.
There's definitely more to discuss with that.
I have to brush up on a
Theories.
lot. I'm not gonna lie because I'm the person that got into movies before the comics. I know.
Yeah, including
Nobody
one
likes
that
that.
Captain Marvel is the reason why there were so many fights on Earth, which led up to this in the first place. But we could discuss more of that next week because we are out of time. Again, tune in next week where Cyclone will be our guest. Make sure you check out our sponsors, K Logistics, Day 3 Botanicals, and we will see you next week.